I'm here with my friend Tommy Ring. I painted this portrait of him a few years ago, and I was able to put his story in my book, The Art of the Spirit. Tommy has the kind of life story that should be a movie, and I was happy I got to put part of it in my book. He builds rat rods, and he is as interesting as his shop is. Tell us what rat rods are, Tommy.
A rat rod is anything that is 1963 or older. That's the body. It can be a car, it can be a truck, it can be whatever. But it's made up of bits and pieces of all kinds of cars. You can build them really cheap. They look cool. It's a Frankenstein of a car, but these young kids love it.
I wanted everybody to see this sculpture that you built. I think I told you that you should do a sculpture of yourself.
You did.
And you did a life-size sculpture. It looks just like you.
Muffler here, shock absorbers for legs. He's got bearings for knees. He's got screws for hands, more shock absorbers. He's got a safety belt. OSHA would love this. Safety belt. Head was made out of a vacuum ball out of the inside of a late model car. Of course, sunglasses and beard made out of screws. Hair's made out of metal shavings, not that much unlike my own. Uncontrollable and undoable. Can't get a comb through it.
From talking to Tommy today, you can see he's happy-go-lucky, funny, always having fun. But you went through a time that was a dark time in your life.
Very much, very much.
And that's part of the story, part of his story that's in my book. But would you tell him a little bit about that?
Well, the thing that my life, as far as my gig, if you want to call it that, I've done a lot of things in my life that involved a lot of things, but my hot rod career began in this shop and it almost ended in this shop. What happened was I checked in with the last doctor I was dealing with, and he basically said there's nothing we can do. We've done everything we can do. We've done all these drugs. It's not working. And so I made up my mind that afternoon that I would end it. You know, when you're in that type of misery, there's not a lot of planning. Everything is minute by minute. And I purposely knew that I'd been on my workbench so many times right there where that grill is, that I knew about the height, and I got to thinking I got a tape measure, and I measured what length of rope it would take to jump off that and make sure that I didn't swing back, because that'd defeat the purpose. And tied it up there, got it tied, got the noose tied, and that's the night it almost ended, and the rest of it you can pick up in the book. But I'm very lucky, just a blessing that I didn't go through with it, because I surely planned to. If I could say something to the Tommy Ring in this picture, from back in those days to now, is don't give up. I know life can look desperate, and it looked desperate for me. I would go do hot rod shows in so much pain I couldn't stand it. People didn't know it, but I was in misery. I was unbelievable pain, couldn't sleep, couldn't function. But the Tommy Ring now, God's touched my life, and I'm a totally different person than I was then. And I have a very good life to live right now, and it's all because I hung on. So my word to myself back then, and to you as well, would be hang on, because you don't know what God has. You can't see the future. You can't see 5 minutes from right now. And it may look dark and gloomy, but just hang on. God is not done. And if you've got a career, you don't know which way to go, no matter what it is in your life, God has a plan for you. And don't give up because it looks hopeless right now, because things can look hopeless in 1 second. It only takes a split second for God to turn it around.